All right, everybody, welcome to For the Love podcast.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to you and me.
Seriously.
Welcome back to us is really the question. When we record these and when they come out, who can ever know? Who can know the mystery of it all?
We don't know.
But in recording world, we have just returned from me having an international trip to Ireland and Scotland, but also Thanksgiving. All of last week was Thanksgiving, and it was, well, we can talk about that in a second. We had two different energies around Thanksgiving. But here's the first thing I want to say. Yes, we need to get to all that. But the first thing that I want to say is that I walked in and I saw that you have on some new Doc Marten, kind of Mary Jane's. Is that the right?
This is correct.
Shoes. No, I was just like, first of all, what's going on? And the reason I say that is because, number one, you don't buy things. Almost ever. Very rarely.
True.
Very rarely.
I agree, yes.
And when you do, it's rarely like high ticket name brand.
Correct.
And yet here you are sitting in this studio in your new shiny Doc Martens.
Well.
And I'm like, are you okay? Blink twice. Like, what's going on?
Well, first of all, I do buy a pair of tennis shoes in the summer, like New Vans.
Okay, sure.
I think I got Adidas last summer.
You did.
So I did text you and send a selfie from the shoe store when I got those, because I'd been there for 20 minutes and thought I was going to die in the back of the store.
That's right.
But
I mean, let me frame this up for you, listener. Like, when Amy onboarded to the show like a year and a half ago, I'm sorry to expose you like this, but she sends me a text and she's like, I can't remember the last time I bought one and I feel like I should have a new bra for the show. And you'd probably been wearing the same bras for, what do you want to say?
10 years?
That's exactly what I'm getting at. So, like, it's not as if you're just out there, buying bras and shit. You just, you don't do that. So.
Okay, well, here's what happened. I was influenced in the middle of the night by like an Instagram ad of like mother-daughter business, like having to close because of tariffs.
Oh, that's how they got you.
I ordered a pair of like cute Mary Janes and they sent the wrong size. And then they never sent me the right size. And I got real mad, and it was like 14 emails, and then like I got my money back.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
But you never got the right size.
Right. And so then I was like, I'm not doing that ever again.
I see. Like, I'm sorry for these mom and pop businesses, but guess what? I'm going to go to Amazon. I'm just kidding. I know you won't.
And then I was kind of mad about the world anyway. And
which part particularly?
There's just a couple of things going on.
Is there? Give me an example. I thought everything was going great. I thought everything was fine out there. What's wrong?
Honestly, it was the piggy thing that sent me over the edge.
Girl.
I was so mad. And so I was like, you know what? F this. I'm getting Doc Martens.
This is such an interesting link in the chain. F this. The administration is in the sunken place and dragging us down with him. Therefore, I'm getting Doc Martens.
Yeah.
I love this.
Anyway.
I mean, I can make the mental leap. It's just that that's not your normal mental leap.
Well, nothing's normal.
That is not a lie.
I also got this t-shirt that says enough.
I like this. I see where your energy's at.
And I think that what this shirt means is like, I'm enough.
Mm-hmm. I see the double entendre.
You're enough. That is not how I bought it.
You bought it like, I have had enough. That's how you bought it.
That is not what I searched for on Etsy.
Did you look for F this?
I actually looked for, like, typed in t-shirt. This little piggy says, F you make me.
And you couldn't find that?
And it didn't exist.
Okay.
Although I think it would be a big seller.
I mean.
But the algorithm suggested this.
I see.
Enough.
I see.
Maybe to tone it down a little bit.
The energy is just a little lower. The register's just a little lower.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Okay.
this was all before Thanksgiving. I'm a little more centered and grateful now, after that holiday. But I was big mad 2 weeks ago.
I was too.
So,
but also now you have these cute shoes
that will last me 20 years.
100%, because that's what docs do. And also they're black and it matches your uniform.
Exactly.
Your daily uniform. For as long as I've known
you. When.
Just that's they're going to go the distance. It is true that, people wear their Doc Martens for 20 years.
I know. I've
Those
honestly
things are sturdy.
Wanted some since college.
Have we talked about this?
I don't know.
Because, Tyler Merritt bought me my first pair of Doc Martens probably 2 or 3 years ago, and I'd never had a pair.
Yeah,
and
same.
I wanted them. I was poor when Doc Martens were awesome in the early 90s.
Yeah, I had
and everybody had them.
A knockoff pair for the club.
Me too. I had them from Payless.
Yeah.
They were plastic. And we were just too poor to have it. And so Tyler and I were walking. We were in New York on just some weekend trip. And we're walking kind of in the village, and we walk past a Doc Martens store. And I very casually, I was like, well, there's the broken dreams of my childhood. And he's like, that feels dramatic. I'm like, well, I always wanted a pair of Doc Martens, but we couldn't afford them. And then I got married and certainly couldn't afford them then. And all of our students in our youth group had 40 pairs of brown Doc Martens piled in our entryway every week at our house. And I had the Payless versions. And he was like, I'm just going to say this gently. You know that you can afford a pair of Doc Martens right now, right? He's like, do you know that you could get them if you wanted them? And I was like, honestly, it never occurred to me. And the next week, I get a package that I did not order on my front porch. And they are classic black Doc Martens. I'm not joking. And Tyler will tell you this. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not just being hyperbolic. I think it's my favorite present I've ever gotten. I called him and I was like, I was so shocked by it that I'm sorry, I've gotten us in the weeds, but the story's almost over. I had been on either a podcast or an interview or a phone call. I cannot remember which, with Kim Paisley. And I had just casually mentioned to her, oh my God, I just walked by Doc Martens. I don't remember. It came up in conversation naturally. I wasn't just being a weirdo. I was telling her about the Doc Martens. And so whatever it was, 4 or 5 days later, I get my Doc Martens. I text her first. I'm like, is there any way that you sent me Doc Martens? Because, of course, Tyler didn't put a card in it.
Yeah.
And she's like, I wish I had. That would have made me a good friend, but it wasn't me. And so my investigation revealed that the boyfriend actually sent me the Doc Martens.
He is a keeper.
I like him. I mean, I drugged that guy all over Ireland and Scotland.
Oh, my gosh. We do not have time now. We've talked about my shoes for 10 minutes.
It's just notable. It's notable. I've never, in my time of being your friend, known you to do this. But we'll talk about the trip in the next episode.
Okay.
Because, my gosh. But let's get into this one, because I told you before she came on, she is so... Our guest today is very effervescent. She is so highly kind of engaging and compelling, and she made a real impression on me when I met her. So I met Kanika Chadda-Gupta when she moderated a conversation at Reese Witherspoon's event called Shine Away, and I was on stage in a conversation with Jenny Garth, who was also recently on the show.
Yeah.
So Jenny and I were sort of this, whatever we were, and Kanika was our interviewer. And within a minute and a half of meeting her, I was like, I like her. I like her. She and I spent quite a bit of time at that event just circling up, backstage. And she gave me this lovely necklace. I have it on today in her honor. And she's just, you'll see, she's warm and smart and funny and beautiful. And interesting. And I knew like right away,
Yeah.
Kanika's going to have to come on the show. Because also she has built a really beautiful space for women, moms particularly. So we're going to get into all this, but she was a former CNN journalist turned entrepreneur. And so now she has had, I think she said 6 or 7 years. She started the Total Mom Sense podcast and like corresponding website with all these resources. And it's just a beautiful place for moms. A beautiful resource, a place to be kind of seen and understood, encouraged for sure. We'll get into it. You'll hear all about it. But her story is so interesting. I mean, between like immigration and identity and motherhood and reinvention and career pivots, like she's got it all. She's got it all. And caregiving, which we didn't hardly even get into at all, but she understands what it's like to juggle. And so this is going to be resonant for you. It certainly was for us. And we are delighted to welcome to the show Kanika Chadda-Gupta. Okay, well, I'm just delighted to have my friend on the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Jen and Amy. You're my Dee Dee.
I know. I was just telling Amy about Dee Dee before you came on. I'm like, oh, my heart.
So sweet.
My heart. Will you just tell our like listening community really quickly what we're even talking about?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So in Hindi, there is a term for relational terms for literally every family member you have. And older sister is Dee Dee.
Yeah.
And so I just had this instant connection with Jen, and I was like, "You're my Dee Dee."
Oh my God, it's so cute. I swear to God, if I hadn't already claimed my grandma name, I would choose Dee Dee.
Oh.
Isn't that the sweetest thing? Also, for everyone who's watching us on YouTube right now, you gave me this beautiful necklace with a J on it, and I'm like, I'm 100% wearing that.
I'm
tomorrow.
wearing
And you have yours
mine
too?
with the K. Yes.
The best,
Yes.
the cutest.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we're just so happy to talk to you today. You're just such a bright, shiny, just presence in the world and in numerous categories. And so if you don't mind, we're introducing you to a large portion of our community today. And so you were born in India before your family moved to the US, and obviously that's the center spoke of the wheel of your story, like your family and your heritage. And I wonder if you could talk first before we fast forward into sort of your more current world about those early years. And I'm curious what it felt like to grow up as you did, sort of between two cultures that frankly have both very much shaped who you are today. And kind of splitting the fence there. Anyway, we would just love to hear a little bit of your early story.
Oh, I'm so happy to share it, and thank you so much for asking. So yeah, I was born in, I call it Bombay. It's now known as Mumbai, in India, and it is the equivalent of New York. It is like the biggest metropolis in the country. And I was there till I was 2 years old. And I feel like I was really raised by the proverbial village. So, yeah, I had my mom, my grandmother, my aunt, my dad, of course, and me, and then all these neighbors in our apartment building. And there are stories that my aunt would tell me. The Hindi term is masi for her. So my masi would tell me I would run barefoot to the neighbor's house and just settle up on their dining table and eat mangoes. And, they would just be like, "Come on in, it's
Yeah.
fine." And I also knew 5 languages.
God,
And
are you
yeah, and that
serious?
was, it's insane. And I just, it's like your first words, but it's like your first words in like multiple languages is really incredible. But it's that much interaction you have with people. So I had an Aya or a nanny who spoke Marathi. We spoke English, Hindi, and Punjabi. It's a North Indian language. And then we had a lot of people around. There was a driver who worked with us who spoke Gujarati. So there you have it. I knew who to say what to and how to say hello, and
that little brain, that little language young acquisition brain is stunning at its capacity to like simultaneously learn languages. This is when I feel the worst about just being straight American.
I know.
This is when I feel the worst, when I'm like, we just, every international place I ever travel, there's 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 languages that everyone has in hand. So you were 2 when you and your family moved over. And where did you move in the States?
Yes, we moved first to Rockville, Maryland, and then moved to Gaithersburg. And I do have to give my mom credit here. She was the reason why we left. So she studied psychology at Catholic University and got her master's there, and then knew she wanted to pursue her PhD. And she had an older sister. She's the middle of 3 sisters. So the aunt that lived in Bombay with us, and then the older one was already in the States. She said, come and kind of plant your roots here. This is the land of opportunity. And my mom said, let's do it. So I love that in a patriarchal society, it was actually my mom that was like, we're upping and leaving, and we're going to build a whole new life.
Doesn't that raise so many questions for you? How did the family respond? How did your dad respond? I mean, as you just said, you were in a village that was raising you and where you were deeply intertwined. I'm curious if that was met with enthusiasm or skepticism.
A little bit of both. I think, so my dad had to stay in this joint family. It was kind of reversed. Usually you stay with your husband's family.
Okay.
But his dad passed away before I was born. And even my maternal grandfather had just passed away. So that kind of sped up the marriage for my parents. And I think, my mom knew that he was yearning to kind of live life on his own terms and not just tag along with his wife's family. So she did it for him too.
I see.
And she was like, we have to also look into sponsorship and visas. And that's where she had relationships, was my older aunt and her husband and extended family were already living out here. And so that was their ticket.
Man. Once you got here, throughout school and when you were choosing your career, what sort of pressures, spoken or unspoken, did you feel as kind of a first generation daughter? Like, were you, did you feel that tug to succeed in a new or different way from your family?
100%.
Yeah.
I am the model minority.
Yeah.
I have all the complexes.
Totally.
I'm very type A. I, was very self-motivated and wanted to be the straight A student. And what's interesting is I didn't actually get as much pressure from my parents. When you think of immigrant communities, oftentimes there's these tropes of like, you got a 95? What happened to the other 5%? Mine didn't do that. In fact, they just, like, I would show off my report card, and, even when it was in elementary school, it was all outstandings and no S's for satisfactory, or needs improvement. It was always all O's, and then it became all A's. And they would just kind of pat me on the back and say, like, good for you. We're not going to pressure you to do this. And I think that, that helped me because I had this self-starter attitude and this executive functioning about myself. Like, as an example, when I was, I want to say in like 6th grade, fifth and 6th grade, I was a patrol, and I was part of the leadership. I was a lieutenant, and I had to be on my post at a certain time to get the little kids into the school safely. And my dad would be like, can I have my coffee? And I'd be like, nope, chop, chop. I got to get to school. Like, get in the car, let's go. And and same thing with, like, when we had tests, if it was my spelling tests or later my SATs, they said, I need to take a Kaplan course. Like, I need a I need to prepare, and they kind of followed my lead. But I really was always chasing the gold star. So, whether it was like being vice president of National Art Society or treasurer of the French Art Society, I like getting the gold star from all of my teachers. I did all the AP classes. I hung out with my teachers at lunchtime.
Okay. Well,
we had like open lunch, and it was like you could go to McDonald's, you could go across the street to the pizza place. I would go sit with Miss Townsend, my biology teacher, and just kick it, and I'd be like, do you need me to like, I don't know, Xerox for you? Like,
God, we might have been the same person.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I deeply understand that the internal pressure sometimes being more acute, more urgent than anything any family could exert from the outside. I was just that exact kid that you just described.
I love that.
1S would have sent me on that report card. My parents would have been like, oh, but they didn't care. But like it would have sent me. Before we sort of dip into your early journalism days, just kind of from a high level, because you really do have this really wonderful dual experience of having your Indian culture and family and sort of ethos, but having done the majority of your years in the States. And so you really do get to pull from two different sort of sets of ideologies. I'm curious, what would you say, what parts of your Indian heritage have served you the most as an adult, like as you grew up, as you are today? And then kind of the flip side of that question, also wondering if any of those real core values or you've released a little, when this maybe doesn't quite serve me as well as it maybe once did.
Okay. Ooh, I love this. So I would say being kind of central in the community has always been like just, a mainstay in my life. So, I was part of a school, like a Sunday school called the India School. And my mom, she signed me up when I was 5 years old. And we actually, we were just trying to make ends meet. We didn't have enough money to enroll me and everything. So she said, do you need a volunteer? And then later on, she ended up becoming the vice president of the school, in addition to her career as a college professor, Monday through Friday. And she was with them for 30 plus years.
Oh my word.
Wow.
Yeah, long after I left and had my own kids and everything. But I learned Hindi and Hindustani vocal music and dance. It was a specific form called Kuchipudi, and it was from the South. And so I did that from age 5 till 18.
Yeah. Wow.
And that was just, I think that if you do something consistently, we all know this, if you're an entrepreneur or a writer, you got to carve the time. Weekly, if you can, daily, but every week without fail, even if I was kicking and screaming at like age 7, like, everybody else is watching Garfield and I have to go to Sunday school.
Garfield. Yes.
And it just like, it was just part of my routine. And I had to take a class with the embassy where I did a full written and oral exam with a proctor. So I passed this diploma course in Hindi. And so that felt like a really, like its own kind of rite of passage where I was like, wow, I'm living in the US and, I'm amongst all those who are first generation. But like I could speak Hindi better than those back home.
Amazing.
Even. So there was that. Then I also did pageants. So this was fun.
Oh my gosh.
I did the Miss India pageant in Maryland and won. And then I won Miss India East Coast.
Oh my gosh, I did not know this. I missed this in the research. This is very exciting.
It's so different because like we're definitely not in the swimsuits. But we had these like traditional garb and evening gowns that we'd wear. And I especially love the question and answer segments.
I bet
and
you
I
did.
remember, my fellow contestants were like, I mean, it's sort of nerve wracking. They're like, I don't know which judge I'm going to get. I wonder what my question's going to be like. And I was just like, bring it. I can't wait till I get a microphone in hand
So
and
interesting.
get to speak my mind, because anyone can sashay and anyone can do a dance for a talent. Like, this is where they actually get inside our head and hear, what we think. Like, this is amazing. So I love that. And that actually led to an opportunity where there was a mom and pop Indian channel called Darshan TV.
Okay.
And they interviewed me when I won the pageant, and they said, you know what, you are a natural on camera. Like, would you want your own youth-driven show?
Wow. Wait, how old were you? Like, locate us. Yeah.
Yes. It was after college, so like 21.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And I said, you know what? I'm not working right now. And sure, I think this is great. The fact that they literally handed this over to me, they said, it's a Saturday morning, I want to say like 9:30 time slot. And they said, we need to get, it's a subscription model show, a channel. And it was on like, how there's PBS.
Yeah.
So they said, we need to get the youth to watch our show. And so your segment would bring them on. And I thought, okay, this is great. So I interviewed thought leaders in the community and those who were in philanthropy and community service and authors. And I was like, wow, I love the idea of having my own talk show. And after that was the impetus for me to earn my master's. I said, I want to go to school for broadcast, learn everything end to end of what a newsroom entails, from the technical to the script writing to the field reporting, and make this my career. And so they were sad to see me go, but they were like, yes, you fly and pursue this full time.
Oh my gosh. So that's what drew you to journalism.
Yep. Wow.
Yep.
And then, so how did you transition from that to CNN?
Right. That's a leap.
That's a huge leap.
Yes. Yeah. I think, there's definitely lucky stars and being at the right place at the right time involved always. I was in this master's program at University of Miami, and I had this mentor. His name is Willard Shepard. He's still in the business, and he said, you can look into opportunities all around the country. And in fact, I did have a job offer in hand for it was the NBC affiliate in El Paso, Texas.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Okay.
I know. And then I had not an opportunity in hand. So this was like just moving out to India to see if CNN or BBC would hire.
Wow.
And I said, should I take this El Paso opportunity? I don't know. And he said, you know what, you have a little bit of an edge being bilingual.
Totally.
And being able to kind of join the international circuit right away.
Yep.
They need someone who's, as cosmopolitan as you are.
Yep.
So I would say just, unfortunately, see if you can just, kind of bide the time, but tell the El Paso folks to wait and go to India and try your hand there. And I did. It took about a month of interviews, and, it was still very attached to what was going on in Atlanta and the corporate structure. It was a sister station there in Bombay. But I landed a job as a producer. Wow. And though I wanted to be an anchor, I was like, I will take it. I will pay my dues and take it. Yeah. Yes. And then within 6 months, because I worked my butt off, I started doing field reporting in addition to producing the show called E! Tonight. So I was working 2 jobs, morning shift, night shift, barely slept.
Jeez.
And and all of a sudden there was an opportunity for the anchor of E! Tonight. The previous one quit. So they were doing auditions, and it was just unanimous. They were like, Kanika, she produces the show already. She's amazing on air. She's our new anchor, and I got it.
Wow.
Man.
Okay. Tell us a little bit more about that season. Like, what was it what you hoped? Was it what you dreamed? And how long did you stay there? At what point were you like, I think this has run its course and my life needs to
Yeah.
take a pivot?
Yeah, I was there for almost 3 years, and I would say I was just thrown for a loop within the first month I was there because the 26/11 terror attacks happened, and that just I feel like it was the most harrowing experience, and being part of the media even more so. Just the city was under siege for
Yeah.
3 days. There was 10 terrorists, and there was hostages in hotels,
Oh boy.
and we didn't know what we could report,
Yeah.
like, what was information we should be disseminating to the public or withhold. I was like updating the ticker tape of this many deaths
Jeez.
and the toll. It was completely insane. But I feel like that was the pivotal moment for me because I was like, I got to put my big girl pants on and I want to stay. And my parents said, "Are you sure? Like, you should just come home." And I said, "This is why I joined the field in the first place." I had a professor at University of Miami, Professor Sam Roberts. He said, and I want to just give him a shout out too. He was the executive producer to Walter Cronkite for 30
Wow.
years.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So he's a legend. And nobody really thinks about the people behind the scenes because we think of the household names who are on air all the time. But he was just a wealth of knowledge. Mouth like a sailor.
I love it. We love to see it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how the newsroom runs. You would not believe, but like everything is on air is, all buttoned up, but like behind the scenes, oh goodness, it's hilarious. So I learned a ton from him. And he said that when you're in a crisis situation, environmental or, societal, whatever it may be, the only headlights that you see heading to the eye of the storm are the first responders and the reporters. And I thought, I want to be in the eye of the storm.
Wow.
I belong here. I need to be here. I need to prove myself. And so then I stayed. And luckily I did get to cover entertainment. So some other great stories that I covered were Slumdog Millionaire, Sleeping Wind.
Wowee.
Oh.
Yes.
Big one.
And
Big moment.
that was iconic for the entire country.
Totally.
You have no idea the celebrations because it was a win at the Oscars, the Golden Globes, and the BAFTAs.
Yeah.
And Best Picture across the board.
Yeah.
Like it was just,
it was a
just
sweep, like a full sweep for India. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And what I chose to focus on for the station was instead of just like, okay, we have these breakout stars and, director Danny Boyle, like all of that. I said the real story here is the fact that actually two of the young kids, the lead, her name is Rubina Ali. She played Latika in the film, the small slum girl. She actually was born into the largest slum of the world. It's called Dharavi. And I said, this is the story. And we did a whole expose.
Yeah.
We went out there with the trucks and did a day in the life where she walked us through the shanties. She showed the cold, hard floor that she slept on and how they would just pull together resources to eat. And she said that after the movie, or it was really a Cinderella story, she was the whole interview was in Hindi too. She was like, I was so excited to go to Hollywood and put on a fancy dress and walk the red carpet. She was at Kodak Theater. She was excited to get on a plane for the first time.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's just unheard of when you come from abject poverty like that. And Danny Boyle set her and her family up with a trust fund that all our education would be paid for, and they moved into an apartment.
Oh, no way. Oh my gosh, what a great story under the story.
Yes. And that changed her destiny.
Of course.
That one film. So it was like, this is the story here. And I mean, the network loved it and it was amazing. So just kind of, I've always been heart-led, and it's those poignant stories that stay with you,
Yeah.
like, much like our interviews too,
Yeah.
Jen, this. It's all about those that it's like, okay, whoever's watching this is forever changed now after seeing that.
So from that incredible journalism career that you had invested in and worked so hard towards, you pivoted into entrepreneurship, motherhood, podcasting, conferences. How did becoming a mother sort of alter the way you understood your purpose in a new way?
Yeah. Well, I had two goals in life, and this traces back to when I was like 7. I wanted to be a mom and a media personality. And so, but it was very quickly that I learned that breaking news isn't conducive to breastfeeding. And I just was like, okay, I need to pivot somehow and take all the skills that I amassed being in television and apply it to new media. And I got married at the time. That was the reason why I moved back, by the way.
Yeah.
So after I felt like my run was up in India, my then boyfriend and I would talk on Skype and had this long distance relationship. And so I took a chance on love and I moved back. And then we ended up getting married 2 years later. So
also
I'm glad
Skype, deep cut on
yeah,
Skype.
I know, right?
Skype.
So
Wow.
I'm glad that I made that decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm just always forward thinking. I knew that okay, we got to start family planning, and that took about 4 years. I can get into that story too, but I knew I want to take these skills and parlay it in a brand new field. I started with a digital marketing firm and had this consultancy for 6 years where I helped clients, over 100 clients, build their online footprints.
Yeah.
And it was great. And I feel like you can't connect the dots going forward. You can only connect them looking back, as Steve Jobs said. But that's what kind of was so instrumental when I created my own brand and podcast, because I had already done it for everybody else.
Of course.
And then, I launched That's Total Mom Sense after I had my 3 kids. And I think that, there's something so important when we look at what your life purpose is. And for me, it was freedom. I wanted to stay in media, but I wanted the freedom. And I knew the only way I could do that would be through podcasting, where you make your own schedule and you decide when your interviews are and your dates. And I said, this is it. And I'm my own news director and get to put my own team together. And so, I'm glad I made that choice.
So 2 things were kind of happening at once, because on one hand, you're in a different media space, you're building kind of an ancillary set of skills in a new market, and you are a young mom with young kids. So these 2 things are happening at once. And the motherhood piece of your story deeply, obviously, and we're going to get to it, but deeply informed what you were going to choose and how your work was going to shape forward. And so I'd like to just splice out the motherhood part for just a minute. And I wonder if you could talk about your experience, particularly in early childhood, when you're like, oh, hell, this mental load is mine. In addition to all this other stuff, to these career moves and all this sort of industry work as well. And then, boom, motherhood. And so, of course, again, looking back, you can connect the dots. But so what was that young experience like that went, oh my gosh, ultimately this is going to play forward into your next career?
Yes. Yeah. I feel like back to that type A kid, I wanted motherhood to happen as soon as I snapped my fingers. I was like, married, 2 years, babies. No, it didn't work out like that at all. We had been trying for 4. And I actually had an ectopic pregnancy, and that was devastating.
Yes.
So, I knew about miscarriages and I had chemical pregnancies along the way. But the ectopic is something that was really foreign to me. And with the help of my friend Juhi, who was in fellowship as an OB, we diagnosed it together. And yeah, it was amazing. It was basically in the middle of the night. I had shooting pains in my left shoulder. And even though I was technically pregnant and had that positive test, my HCG levels were really low.
Yeah.
And I told Juhi about that. And she said, I don't want to scare you, but I have a feeling you're having an ectopic because these signs are very indicative. And the pains you're feeling in your shoulder are referral pains because your uterus is empty. The fetus could be growing in one of your fallopian tubes.
Wow.
And I was like, really?
Wow.
So I actually had an appointment with my OB for, it's like when you have to pee on the stick. It was like one of those routine appointments the next day. And I said, great, I'm going to tell the RNs what's happening and demand an ultrasound. And they just poo-pooed me. Wow. They were like, oh, sweetie, you must have like a muscle spasm or like maybe you slept on your arm the wrong way. And I said, I'm having an ectopic. I have this gut feeling about it. I ran down the hall and found my doctor, the doctor that I had at the time, and convinced her. And she said, fine, we'll do the ultrasound. And I was only like 7 weeks along. So they just felt like it's not time yet. And they did it. And the entire sonogram, my whole uterus was empty. And they said, yep, you're going to have to go into high res now. And I was on methotrexate for a few rounds, which is the cancer medication. Wow. And yeah, I was in a really deep, dark hole for a while. I was really depressed. I thought like, shit, this is not going to work out for me, and lo and behold, I got a new OB who was amazing in New Jersey. We had just moved. A lot of things were happening at that time. So I had to get, a whole new kind of doctors and specialists in hand. And a year till the day, this is what's so amazing. I ended up having my twins, and I had this on my vision board. So I had a cutout from Parents Magazine from 4 years before, because we were trying for a long time, of a blue baby booty and a pink baby booty right in the middle. And I can send it to you. And I just thought like, okay, I really hope this works out. And within a year of that ectopic, I ended up having boy-girl twins.
What do you know?
Oh
exactly.
My goodness.
What do you know?
And then I had my surprise little gift. My younger son, just within 18 months later. So I had I got pregnant with him when they were 9 months.
Oh, geez.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was still nursing, so that's not birth control.
Did you panic? I think I might have panicked.
Yeah.
I mean, because,
insert expletive.
Yeah.
That's what I said when I found out. And it was an overwhelm of emotions. I was so happy. Yeah. I was like, we wanted the big family. It's happening. But then I was like, oh my God, I was trying to lose all this twin weight. And what the hell? It's like, here we go again.
Oh my gosh. And also 2 babies under 1 is no joke.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was
it's, what is that? I'm sure you've heard this joke, but do you know who Jim Gaffigan is? He's a comedian. He has this hilarious joke that he's got 5 kids. And he tells this joke and he's like, having the 5th kid is exactly like you're drowning and someone hands you a baby. I'm like, yes, it's exactly how it feels. Like,
oh my gosh, instead of a buoy.
Yeah, that's right. Someone hands you a baby. So then you've got 3 littles, and you're still working full time?
Yes. Yeah. You know what's so funny? So when I gave birth to the twins, my husband wasn't even there. He happened to be traveling. And the first thing I packed when my water broke was my laptop.
What?
I was
wow.
I just love working. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know how long the hospital stay is going to be,
Sure.
but if it's a while, like, I might as well just get some work done. And I'm glad that I did, because there was a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
I'd have the pump and then the laptop, and it was great. And I was there for 4 days.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I was working throughout, and I think that's the misnomer people forget, is when you work for yourself and you're an entrepreneur, it's not like, oh, it's your own 9 to 5. No, it's 24/7. And you really hold yourself accountable to, like, when the deliverables get out and all of that. So, and I enjoyed that. And luckily was working from home. I still had my consulting firm, but it was only after my third turned 1 that, I had listened to all these podcasts and audiobooks and all the parenting paraphernalia that's out there. That's when I decided to kind of get into this market. I was like, I love this space. I feel like there is no end to the learning and the conversations. Like, I want to be in parenting and media and motherhood. I'll be there. So,
yeah, because the process of planning your family and fertility and pregnancy and young infancy is its whole thing. But then actual, like, boots on the ground motherhood is a completely different thing. What surprised you about showing up as a mother? What type of mother you were, like, both good and bad? And what did you sense you needed that wasn't available to you?
Yeah. What surprised me was, as much as I wanted kids for so long, and I was always very maternal. I have a younger sister who's 7 years younger. So I knew how to test a bottle, and I was babysitting long before I legally should have been.
Yeah. I think we all were back then. Yes.
So I thought, I was like, I have all this figured out. I was most surprised by how your kids will make you face your childhood trauma head on.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Isn't that the truth?
Yes. I just thought, wow, I'm not patient. And there's times where, those limiting beliefs, or like the disparaging, like cutting remarks. My dad and I get along great now, but when we were younger, that, he was like that.
Yeah.
And he would say things that really just shot my self-esteem. And those are the first things that come up when my kids do something wrong. And I'm like, oh, wow, I gotta reframe and not just react and say those things like, what's wrong with you?
Totally.
Why are you doing this? That's what comes up right away. And I'm like, oh shit, this is what I heard all the time.
Totally.
Yeah.
God, that's the truest thing. There is nothing like parenthood to hold up a mirror to a lot of internalized narratives and scripts that we were both given and used. It's so true. And so I'd like to hear you talk a little bit about, so your youngest is 1. This whole world has captured you, obviously, realistically, like that's your day to day, but also in your imagination, you said you're heart driven. And so your North Star is shifting. I'd like to hear you talk about Total Mom Sense. Kind of its origin story, the spark behind it, your vision for it. Because generally, I'm a builder too, and in entrepreneurial ways. I have an idea of what I want, and to some degree, that's how it goes. But then all this other stuff surprises me, as it sort of takes on its own life and grows in sometimes ways I didn't expect or anticipate. So can you talk a little bit about, because that is another pretty major pivot that you made.
Yeah, big time. I think we all are really instinctual. And I actually trust my intuition with my whole heart. So that's what, like, made me come up with the term mom sense. It's our, intuition and superpower, and we all have to blindly trust sometimes. And I was doing it even before I had the kids with that ectopic. I was like, I know what's what.
Yeah.
So that was my gut. And so that's where it all started. I was actually listening to Mom Brain with Hilaria Baldwin and Daphne Oz. And that was its own full circle moment because Daphne's been on the show. But I would listen to that podcast particularly all the time. So I was like, oh, I really want to do this same exact thing and have these really insightful conversations with people. And I loved how it was therapy, hearing two people talk in your ear.
Totally.
It was like, I can't be out and about with my 3 kids. I mean, they were in all different size diapers, it was,
Totally.
Oh my gosh.
but at least I feel part of a conversation in a way, and whenever for the 2 a.m. feed, I got somebody talking to me. So that's why podcasts really piqued my interest. But it came to me when I was in the shower. I feel like all good things just kind of flow out of you at that time. But I had just pumped or nursed or something, and I was taking this hot shower, and I was like, mom sense, and then I just, trademarked the show. That's Total Mom Sense. And I just knew that I wanted to create a space that was 3 things: illuminating, inspiring, and inclusive. Because I did hear a lot of parenting shows that I felt would get into the complaining and the commiserating a little too much. And that wasn't working for me. I just feel like I think more about the story. I'm like a journalist. And then as an immigrant, that's like beaten out of us. We don't complain. You just do hard work and do your duty, and you just shut up and go about your day. So that was kind of why I thought, this is what the ethos of the show will be. And even more so, it's like I'm a positive person. I wanted it to be uplifting, and it's like, this is a resource for you to learn from. And even broader strokes, it was like, whoever I bring on the show, we don't need to get into the granular of like, potty training and like sleep routines, which in the beginning it was, but it has evolved into, let's talk about those overarching life lessons. That we can all learn from. You don't have to be a parent to listen to it. But this is what we want to pass on to the next generation, because whether you're a parent or not, we are building a collective legacy.
Yeah. You're incredibly good at taking this deep wisdom and turning it into like tangible takeaways. So what are maybe your top 3 takeaways for women who are in a season of like either in the weeds with littles or transitioning into their next chapter?
Okay. I would say the first thing is create your own village.
Yes.
That's good. Matters.
Yeah. I lament the fact that we don't have what we used to, like I grew up in the 90s, and without even batting an eyelash, my mom would be like, I'm dropping you at this auntie's house, or, I'm picking up so-and-so from school. And it was just this revolving door. And I love that. And now, there's like a formality, I love that we just moved recently, and I love the community we belong to, but there's more like, just like a reticence, like, is it okay if you pick up one of my kids for baseball? Is that, convenient or not? And I love the informality that we had growing up. So try to create that.
That's good.
And become friends with, whether it's the baseball moms or, even create your own new ride or die community. I feel like the friends that I've made in this season of my life are forever, and love that, the ones from high school were there, but they're in the distant past. And so I love the village that I have now. The second would be seek help. Therapy got me through.
Same.
Same.
And even if you don't have the resources, I remember after I had the kids, my pediatrician gave me a number to a postpartum hotline that was free.
Yeah.
So it was in a printout with the La Leche League and like a few other phone numbers. And I called that one, and it was specifically for New Jersey residents. And so every state is going to have this, and definitely ask your OB or pediatrician for that. But it was a 1-800 hotline. And I remember I would be ugly crying to this lovely woman named Pat who had a British accent. And I was like, I just pumped. And then, this one had a blowout. We had to go somewhere, and my husband and I are fighting, and I hate my life, and I'm fat, and I feel like shit.
Yeah.
It was just all the stuff that I would just kind of dump on her. She was that listening ear. And I said, Pat, when are your shifts?
Oh my
Monday,
gosh.
Wednesday, Friday, 9:30. I'm calling you at 9:30.
That's so cute.
And she was like, you are in postpartum care. You are totally allowed to do that.
That's so good. Those resources exist. And I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Those exist.
Yes.
And also, and I'm going to just add to that real quick. Also, I'm not saying this is a replacement for therapeutic care, but in the interim, if cost is a problem or accessibility is, genuinely, podcasts can stand in the gap. There are brilliant conversations that are free on the internet that you can pop into your ears for 45 minutes and feel seen at least and understood. And in so many cases, like instructed and led and taught. And so resources abound. So I love this, like get help.
Yes.
And there's a lot of places where you can get help. Okay. And then what were you going to say before I rudely interrupted you?
And no, you're the best. And you're absolutely right. That was my other therapy, was like, I just always have to have something on. And I felt like I was growing every time I heard a really enlightening conversation. And then the third is journals. And so I have 3 that I'm going to show you right now. So these are my journals with my kids. Got them on Amazon. And I started it when the kids were like 5. But it's basically like a mom and a kid back and forth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've seen these.
Yes. And I love it. And what tipped this off for me was I was doom scrolling on Instagram, and I watched this reel where this woman was like, I used to lead an AA group, and there was this girl who came to the meeting, and she brought her mom. And she said, I was just so intrigued, like, here's this young girl who could bring anyone, but like that just is a testament to like how close their bond is, that she brought mom to the meeting. And so she's like, I just flagged down the mom right after and was like, tell me how you created this bond with her. And she said, well, when she was younger and even into her teenage years, we had a journal. And we wrote entries back and forth, and it could be about your day or questions that you have for your kid. And then she would slip it under her pillow, and they would do it back and forth. And she said there were some conversations that we never even had out loud. They were just in writing.
That's so good.
So yeah, I'm starting it early. Now it's just a lot of like rainbows and pictures.
Yeah.
But when things get heavy, which I know they will, like I want them to know that, they have a safe space with me.
I love that so much, Kanika. Okay. We're wrapping it up here. I think I would just love for you to have the last word in terms of the women listening who are going, I would love a beautiful, safe, encouraging, warm space for my motherhood questions. And you've got this beautiful space that you've built. And so can you just talk to that mom who is going, I need something. I need somewhere to go. I need a community of listeners or whatever it is. Can you talk a little bit about the invitation that you offer to the women in the world for your space?
Okay. Well, hi there, Mama. I see you. I feel you. I have lived your story. I want you to feel so safe and protected in this collective community that we have, with my show, That's Total Mom Sense, I wanted to make sure that I had these engaging conversations with, those who were celebrities to neuroscientists, and bring this information to you in the most cogent, easy to listen to, where you're passively listening while you're doing the dishes or the laundry or on a commute, and feel like it was one thing that flipped a switch and allowed you to change your day, which is going to change your week, which is going to change your years and your life. And that's why I do it every day. It's been 6 years. I'm 350 plus episodes in, and you all know this at For the Love. It's truly a labor of love.
Totally.
But as much as I want to have this be therapy for you, and this show as a lifeline for you, it's one that I need too.
Yeah, of course. Beautiful. And so listeners, we will round all this up for you. We will link to the show and Kanika on socials and just everywhere else. And so thank you for serving moms. We know this, my community is all women. Yeah. And so while like the scope of the conversations I host are broader, how we feel like we are doing as moms, it literally informs every single other category in our life at all times. We've talked about this a million times.
Yeah.
We're only doing as well as our worst kid is doing. Yes. When we're dipping into like what feels like parenthood chaos, everything else is in disarray, or every other category. And so this it's so central to the health, the mental health and wellness of every woman I know who is a parent. And so I'm cheering for you, as you know, and your work is really important and it really matters. And it's so true that if you can change someone's afternoon and thus their evening and thus their next day and thus their week, that is quite a domino effect of positive change in any given life. And so proud of you.
Thank you.
Proud of you.
Oh my gosh, I admire you so much.
Just your Dee Dee out here, just cheering you on. We're one notch ahead of you in parenting. We're just, how old are your kids right now?
So Christian and Suhana are 8 and Trey is 7.
Yeah. Oh. 8 and 7.
Oh my gosh.
She's in it. She's just in it.
Yeah.
You're in the homework, the reading hours, like the elementary.
Fill out that log. I have to sign.
Girl, I see that log in my dreams. And I'm long past the reading log. Okay, I am going to round this up for everybody, but will you just rattle it off real quick? Here's where people can find you.
Yes, absolutely. So my website is that'stotalmomsense.com. You can listen to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. And I'm most active on Instagram. My account is at Kanika Chadda-Gupta.
There it is.
Perfect.
We got it for you. Okay, well, I'm delighted to see you, and I'm going to see you later this week again. So yay me. Yay us.
Friday. Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Thanks for being on the show.
Was a delight.
Thank you. So good talking to you.
All right, you guys, that's the darling and wonderful Kanika. So as promised, we're going to round all that up for you. So you'll want to follow her everywhere on socials and certainly subscribe to her podcast. So over at jenhatmaker.com under the podcast tab, we'll have this show link and the notes and the links and everything you need to find out more. Also, you can leave us a message over there. We've got a send voicemail button. And if you want to tell us anything at all about this episode, about any episode, something you're learning or thinking through, something you'd like to hear, we listen to every single one of those. And also, as you know, we round those up about once a quarter and do a listener submitted episode, which we love and you guys love as well. So thank you for being with us today. We've got a handful of really great episodes coming up. Folks you love and you're going to love hearing from, so we can't wait to share them with you. All right, you guys. Thanks for being with us today. See you next time.
Thanks for listening.